Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about the important concept which is related to soil fertility and soil nutrient availability. So the important factor is where we are going to discuss here, that is the mobility of nutrients in soil. And in the next chapter we will study mobility of nutrients in plants. Okay, so here mobility of nutrients inside the soil system, it is most important single factor. It is most important single factor in, we can say, in soil fertility relationship, which determines the yield of a plant. It will decide the yield of the plant. And if we will see the term of mobility term, if you will see, it is used here because here we are going to see whether the nutrient ion, as you know that whatever the nutrients are present inside the soils, these are present in ionic form, and these ionic forms are available to the plants, except, as you know, that boron, that is S3BO3, it is also it can be also available in the form of neutral form, okay, non-ionic form, we can say. So whatever the most of the nutrients are present in ionic form inside the soil system, and the thing is that these nutrient ions should reach to the absorbing, you can say, to the absorbing root surface. That means if this is the plant root, so whatever the ions are present, these ions should reach the root surface. Which root surface? Which are absorbing root surface. Thereby these nutrients can be obtained by the plant. This is the concept. Okay, that means in order to availability of the nutrients with respect to the plant, the nutrient and the plant, the root, there will be root contact should be there, root and ion contact should be there, so that there we can say, as you know, the scientist Jenny and Overstead, whatever they said, root and ion exchange, as you know, that the process, that is root contact exchange, or we can say root contact exchange concept is there, which is given by the Jenny and Overstead. And here whenever we are saying that the nutrient is available to the plant, here you have to remember two concept. That means whether this nutrient is soluble in nature, yes or no, soluble or not soluble. As you know that if it is soluble, then it is available to the plant, but if it is not soluble, then it is not available to the plant. Second thing is that with respect to mobility, two types of nutrients are there. One is mobile nutrient, another is, you can say, three type. One is highly mobile, you can say highly mobile, another is less mobile, another is immobile. You can see here mobile, highly mobile, then less mobile, then immobile nutrient is there, okay, with respect to mobility. So now with whether the nutrient and what is the concept behind the root and the nutrient contact, this is the concept. And here we will see what is the different concepts where the root and ion contacts will be there. So let us erase these things, and we will discuss the next concept. So here, so if we want the contact between root and ions, then here, as you know, that there is two theories. Okay, either nutrient ion will move to the sorbing root surface, because as we want to establish a contact relationship between root and ion, so either ion will move to the root surface or the root will move to the ions. So here there are two theories: either nutrient ion will move to the sorbing root surface, or root surface. Which root surface? Sorbing root surface should reach the ionic zone or nutrient zone. So in this means, that means there is either movement of ion is there, or movement of root surface is there. This is the concept. So that means you have basically three type of nutrient. So if you will see here mobility nutrients, so you can see there is a mobility based on the mobility. So the mobile nutrients, that is nitrate, sulfate, that means boron ions, borate, or chloride ions, manganese ions. These ions are highly soluble in nature. These ions are highly soluble in nature, but these ions are not adsorbed. These ions are not adsorbed over the colloidal clay surface. Mostly, as you know, that whatever the clay particles is there, suppose this is the clay particle, and these clay particles, the surface contains most of the negative ions. So as these are the most negative ions, so whatever the negative ions here it is present, so whatever the negative ions are there, nutrient ions, there will be repulsion will be there. Mostly there will be repulsion. That means these most of these negative ions, as well as you to remember which cation, there is manganese cations. So these ions are not adsorbed over the colloidal clay surface. That means whatever these ions, they are not adsorbed by this colloidal clay. That means whatever the ions are present, they are present in the soil solution. As these ions are not present over the clay surface, that means these ions are highly soluble in nature, and these are present in the soil solution. So that means as these are highly soluble in nature and highly mobile in nature, that means, so if it is a, so let us, this is a plant and this is the root. Okay, that means if there is any, suppose nitrate ion, so suppose NO3 ion is present here, NO3 ion present here, that means these ions can move because of its highly mobile in nature. These ions can move to the root surface, to the root area, and these are become available to the plant. So now the area from which the ions can move up to the root surface, the area from which the ions can move to the root surface, so it is called as root system, because here the entire root system acts as an absorbing surface. So it is called as root system sorption zone. Okay, you can see here, this is the entire area. This is the entire area which is available for the nutrient absorption site. For which nutrient? For this is the entire area for mobile nutrient. For which nutrient? Mobile nutrient. Hence it is called as root system sorption zone. That means entire root system is here, it is absorbing the nutrients. Which nutrients? That is mobile nutrients. Okay, and whenever we are going towards the immobile nutrient, basically immobile means immobile means that is these ions are strongly, you can say these are highly reactive in nature. These ions are highly reactive in nature, and you can say these ions are get fixed, or we can say adsorbed over the clay surface. That means suppose whatever the H2P, you can say here zinc, another immobile cation, you can say zinc Zn+2, this is also immobile. So whatever the zinc, suppose we can see here the clay particles is there, and under this clay particles basically as you know that over the clay particles both positive as well as negative ions are there, and whatever the positive ions are there, these phosphate ions, H2PO4 minus ions, these are very strongly held by the clay particles. Majorly you can say that basically 1:1 type of clay minerals are more strongly adsorbed because of more positive charge over the surface is there. So 1:1 clay type of minerals, they will fix more amount of H2PO4 minus ions. As well as you know that zinc is very less soluble in nature, hence these are also immobile and it is also fixed by the adsorbing surface of the colloidal clay particle. So as you know that these are strongly adsorbed by the clay particle, that means inside the soil solution the availability is very less, that means as well as it is immobile in nature. So what is the thing? So here the concept is like that. So suppose here in this case, this is the root system surface zone, that means it is for entire root zone is, this is called a rhizosphere zone. The rhizosphere zone is very larger one. But if we will see in case of immobile nutrients, so suppose this is the plant, and here you have the root system. Okay, so here you have the root system, but suppose in this here the H2PO4 minus ion is present, but as this ion is immobile in nature, as you know that this is immobile in nature, that means this ion cannot move to the root surface because it is highly immobile in nature and it is fixed over the adsorbing colloidal clay surface. So for this, what is the concept behind the availability of the phosphate ion with respect to the plant root? So here, as you know that there are two concepts, either nutrient will move towards the root surface, but here rather nutrient cannot move to the root surface, rather this root will elongate. So there will be an elongation of the root system, and it will reach the here it is the clay particle is there. So this root will there will be elongation of the root system will be there, and it will reach to the ionic zone, and now there will be exchange between the ions will be there. So that basically in case of immobile nutrients, for its availability, the root should elongate and it will reach the ionic zone. But here in case of mobile nutrient, rather here in this case the nutrient, as it is mobile in nature, it will directly move to the root surface. So here the larger area will be there accordingly. So as you know that depend upon the different species, the elongation of root is very it varies, okay, according to the different species of the plant. So basically here in this case, as you know that, so if we will erase this and very clearly if we will see, so that means there is two types of plants are there. One will be, suppose one will be here, the roots are there, and a larger surface rhizosphere zone is there for which nutrient? For mobile nutrient. That means whatever the nutrients present here in this zone, they can move towards the root surface and very easily the plant can uptake the nutrient. But another thing is there, where plant is there, okay, root is there, but here in this case the nutrients which is present just surrounding the nutrients which is present just surrounding the root, which nutrient? These are immobile nutrients. So the nutrients which are present just surrounding the root, these nutrients are only available to the plant. So that means here individual root surface is needed for absorption area. But in this case the entire root surface, here in this case the entire root surface is act as a absorbing surface. So it is, hence here it is called as root system absorption zone, but here it is called as root system, but here it is called as root surface absorption zone. So these are two concepts, one is root system, another is root surface. Okay, this is the two concept. Here you can see this is for immobile nutrient. There is individual sorption zone is there. That means here we have very thin layer of soil just surrounding the root surface or root hair, you can say, or root. So basically in this case, if you know that area of competition, suppose now you will see the area of competition. So the area of competition will be like this. Suppose as we know that we are growing any two plants which are suppose we are growing two plants. Okay, suppose we are growing two plants. So here it is the root surface, here it is the root one. So as with respect to mobile nutrient, suppose this is the rhizosphere zone. This is the rhizosphere zone for plant A. This is also rhizosphere zone for plant B. That means here you can see there is an overlapping zone. Here you can see for which nutrient? For mobile nutrient. So if this is the root system sorption zone for plant A, and if this is the root system sorption zone for plant B, then you can see there is an overlapping of the zones will be there. That means there is a competition between plant A and plant B for the which nutrient? For the mobile nutrients, because of the overlapping zones is there. That means you have to plant this A and B in such a distance that there will be no overlapping of the root system zone. There will be no overlap, so that there will be no competition between the two plants. So that means the spacing between the two plants is also depend upon the competition between the nutrients, that is mobile nutrients. So the competition is more with respect to the mobile nutrient. But if we will see immobile nutrient, then for immobile nutrient, suppose here I am growing one plant. Suppose here I am growing one plant A, and here it is plant B. For immobile nutrients, as you know, the root surface sorption zone, root surface. So that means here the overlapping zone is not there. Individual roots are there. So between the two plants, there is a very less chance of the overlapping zone. Okay, but if we will plant this A and B more and more closer, then there will be a chance of overlapping of the root surface zones for the which nutrient? For the immobile nutrient. So here you can see the area of competition for mobile nutrient. That is, you can see here this is the overlapping nature. Okay, but here you can see if more closer plant will be there, you can see the distance between the two plants, plant A, plant B, is very less. That means here the area of competition will be for both. For, you can see here, for mobile nutrient also, as well as for the overlapping of the immobile nutrient will be there. There is both overlapping condition of root surface zone as well as root system sorption zone will be there. Okay, so as you know that here you have to remember in the coming examinations you will ask what is the root system sorption zone, what is the root surface sorption zone, and here if you with respect to mobility, which are mobile in nature because these are highly soluble in nature and these are not adsorbed by the colloidal clay surface. So here these are the nitrate, sulfate, borate or boron ions, then chloride, then manganese ion, and which are immobile in nature, basically phosphate ions, that is H2PO4 minus or HPO4 minus 2, another is Zn+2. This is also you can very important. There is a cation which is immobile in nature. Okay, because these are highly reactive in nature and these are get fixed by the adsorbed clay surface. And there are some ions which are less mobile in nature, and though they are soluble in nature, but they are less mobile because these ion also adsorbed over clay surface. Whether it is potassium, that means here clay particles is there, these ions are also potassium ions are also adsorbed over the clay particle. As it is highly soluble in nature, so but in there is two term, one is mobile, another is less mobile. So here very clearly you can see. So there is two thing, okay. So whether the ion is soluble in nature or not, or whether the ion is adsorbed over the clay surface or not. If it is highly soluble but not adsorbed in the plant, if it is highly soluble in nature but not adsorbed over the clay surface, then it is called as mobile nutrient. If it is soluble in nature but also adsorbed over the clay surface, then it is called as less mobile. Yes or no? And if it is highly reactive, very less soluble in nature and get fixed or adsorbed over the surface, it is immobile in nature. This is the thing. Okay. So I hope you have understood the concept. So let us come into the question part. So here first question is, which one of the following is more prone to leaching? So more prone to leaching means what? If the nutrient is highly mobile in nature, highly soluble in nature, then it will be leached. Suppose this is the plant, okay, and you are applying water, here the nutrients is present. Which nutrient is soluble in nature? So along the percolation of water, as you know that whenever we are going for irrigation, some of the water will go downward by the process of percolation. So most of the nutrients which are soluble in nature, they will also move downward along with the water. So this is called as the leaching inside the soil. So which nutrient which are highly mobile in nature? This is a positive ion, so there is a chance of fixation is there, and so it is less mobile in nature. H2PO4, it is immobile in nature. K plus, that is potassium, and it is also adsorbed by the surface, so it is less mobile in nature. So the nitrate ion, which is highly mobile in nature and it is not adsorbed over the clay surface, and it is also highly soluble, hence it is more prone to leaching. Then coming to root surface absorption zone is related to, as you know that there is two types of zone, root surface and another is root system absorption zone. For root surface absorption zone means a very thin layer just surrounding the root hairs. So it is for which nutrient? It is for immobile nutrient. And immobile nutrient, as you know that, which are either you can say highly reactive in nature and get adsorbed over the clay surface very strongly. So this is nothing but the phosphate ions. So this is the concept we have studied today. In the next chapter we will discuss the nutrient mobility in the plant. So very thank you.